If you want to truly attract the right woman, and not just any woman, but someone who connects with you deeply and emotionally, you have to start by becoming the best version of yourself first. This is not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about unlocking the parts of you that are powerful, confident, and magnetic. Women don't fall in love with potential. They fall in love with presence. And that presence comes when you know who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going. Too many men look outward first. They try to impress with money, status, or physical appearance, hoping that'll be enough to win someone over. But the truth is, what draws a woman in and keeps her interested goes far deeper than the surface. It's your energy, your mindset, and how you carry yourself. Are you grounded? Are you emotionally stable? Are you someone who brings peace into a room or someone who brings chaos? These are the things that truly matter. Being the best version of yourself means committing to growth. It means taking responsibility for your life instead of blaming your past, your exes, or your circumstances. It means developing your purpose, whatever that looks like for you, and walking in it with confidence. It means showing up for yourself even when no one is watching, because that's the foundation of self-respect. And when you respect yourself, others will too, especially women. It's also about emotional intelligence. Can you handle pressure without lashing out? Can you communicate honestly without playing games? Can you be vulnerable without crumbling? That's the kind of strength women are drawn to, not just muscles or charm, but real, grounded emotional strength. Let's be honest. The reason many men struggle in relationships is not because they aren't good enough, but because they haven't taken the time to know themselves. They try to fit into a mold of what they think women want, and in doing so, they lose their authenticity. But authenticity is irresistible when you are true to yourself. When you own your story, your flaws, you don't have to chase anyone. The right woman will recognize your value because you've already recognized it in yourself. So instead of asking, how can I get her to like me? Shift the question to, how can I become a man I'm proud of? Whether she comes along or not. Because the truth is, when you become a man who is whole, who is growing, who is living with passion and purpose, love doesn't just show up, it sticks around. It's not about tricks or tactics. It's about transformation. And the moment you choose to rise, everything around you begins to rise too. A lot of men think that if they just look a certain way, drive the right car, or make enough money, women will automatically be drawn to them. And yes, let's be real, those things might grab attention, especially in the beginning. But attention is not affection, and it's definitely not love. If you really want to connect with a woman in a way that makes her see you as someone she could build a life with, you have to understand what women truly value. At the core, most women aren't looking for perfection. They're not sitting around waiting for some flawless man to come sweep them off their feet. What they want is someone who sees them, hears them, and respects them. Someone who's emotionally present. Someone who makes them feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. That kind of connection runs deeper than anything money or looks can buy. A lot of men underestimate just how powerful emotional intelligence is. Being able to pick up on her moods without her saying a word. Asking the right questions. Listening. Not just to respond, but to understand. These things matter. Because when a woman feels emotionally seen, when she senses that you get her, not just her body, but her mind and heart, something shifts. That's where real intimacy begins. And let's talk about ambition for a moment. Not in the hustle, culture kind of way, but in a purpose-driven way. Women are drawn to men who have direction, who are building something, who have a vision for their life. You don't need to be rich or famous, but you do need to be intentional. There's a quiet strength in knowing where you're headed and carrying yourself with that clarity. It says, I know who I am, and I know where I'm going. That's incredibly attractive. Authenticity also cannot be overstated. Too many men fall into the trap of trying to perform, saying what they think she wants to hear, acting in ways they think will impress her. But most women are intuitive. They can feel when you're not being real. And when they sense inconsistency or fakeness, trust goes out the window. Be honest about who you are. Be willing to share your story, your challenges, your wins. That kind of vulnerability doesn't make you weak. It makes you relatable. In the end, it's not about impressing every woman. It's about deeply connecting with the right one. And to do that, you have to stop chasing what looks good from the outside and start embodying what feels real from the inside. Because when you become a man who understands what women genuinely value, connection, purpose, presence, and truth, you won't have to convince her to love you. She'll feel it for herself, and she won't want to let it go. If there's one thing that can make or break any relationship before it even begins, it's communication. You could have all the confidence, ambition, and presence in the world, But if you don't know how to connect through your words, your tone, your energy, you'll find yourself stuck in surface level interactions that never lead to something deeper. Communication isn't just about what you say. It's about how you say it, why you say it, and whether you're really listening in return. Far too often, men are taught that strength means being stoic, unemotional, or always in control. But let's set the record straight. Emotional silence is not strength. The ability to speak with clarity, to express yourself honestly, and to open the door for someone else to do the same, that's real strength. That's what creates connection. And connection is what women are looking for when they say they want someone who can communicate. It starts with listening, not passively, but actively. Listening without interrupting, without trying to fix, and without waiting for your turn to talk. When a woman is speaking to you, she's not always looking for answers. Sometimes, she just wants to be heard, understood, and felt. There is something deeply intimate about being present with someone in conversation. No distractions, no ego, just genuine interest. And when you do speak, speak from a place of authenticity. You don't need to impress with big words or clever lines. What women connect to is realness. Tell her what you really think. Share how you really feel. Even if you're unsure or uncomfortable, say that. That kind of honesty creates trust, and trust is the foundation of emotional intimacy. Because when a woman knows that she can trust your words, she begins to trust your intentions too. Now, that doesn't mean dumping every thought or emotion at once. It means being emotionally articulate, being able to name your feelings, share your experiences, and hold space for hers without judgment or defensiveness. When you show that you can handle vulnerability, both yours and hers, you become someone she can feel safe with. And emotional safety is what allows love to grow. Let's not forget, humor, storytelling, body language, these are all part of communication too. The way you make her laugh, the way you maintain eye contact, the way you respond when she shares something important, all of it matters. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be as present. Pay attention to the details. The little things are never little when it comes to emotional connection. So if you really want to make a woman fall in love, not just with your image, but with who you are, master the art of communication. Let your words carry weight, let your presence speak louder than your charm, and let every conversation become a space where both of you can be fully seen. Because in the end, it's not just what you say that matters, it's how deeply she feels heard when you say it. When it comes to building a real connection with a woman, it's not about how expensive the dinner was or how perfectly you planned every moment. What she'll remember, what will stay with her long after, is how you made her feel. The emotional imprint you leave behind matters more than any material gesture. And that's where the magic lies, creating memorable emotional experiences that speak to her heart. People fall in love in moments, not just grand, sweeping moments, but small, meaningful ones. The way you looked at her when she wasn't expecting it. The quiet car ride where you reached over and held her hand without a word. The way you remembered something she said in passing and brought it up weeks later. These are the things that stick. Because they're real. They're not rehearsed. They come from a place of genuine presence. Too often, men focus so much on impressing a woman that they forget to just text best with her, to be fully there. In the moment, in the energy, in the emotion. You don't have to orchestrate some fairy tale scene to make her feel special. What she's craving is authenticity and connection. It's the quality of your attention that makes an experience memorable, not just the setting. And yes, laughter is powerful. Don't underestimate the power of fun, spontaneity, and shared joy. When you laugh together, you create a bond. You're telling her, without words, that being around you is light, freeing, and safe. That she doesn't have to perform. That she can let her guard down. And that's when love begins to take root. When the armor starts to come off and the real person starts to show up. But emotional experiences aren't only about happiness. They're also about depth. Can you have the hard conversations? Can you sit in silence together without it feeling awkward? Can you hold her when she's had a bad day, not with answers, but with presence? Those moments of raw, honest connection are unforgettable. They tell her that you're not just a man she can date, but someone she can trust. Someone who will show up even when things aren't easy. What makes emotional experiences so powerful is that they awaken something inside us. They remind us of who we are, what we want, and how we want to feel in a relationship. When a woman feels seen, understood, and emotionally moved by your presence, she starts to associate those feelings with you. And when that happens, attraction deepens into affection. Affection becomes attachment. And love, real love, is born from that space. So stop trying to impress her with things. Start aiming to move her with moments. Make her feel something. Because long after the words fade and the dates blur together, what she'll carry with her is the way your presence made her heart come alive. One of the most powerful things a man can do in a relationship is to respect a woman's autonomy, her right to choose, to feel, to grow, and to live on her own terms. Love isn't about possession. It's not about controlling, convincing, or cornering someone into staying. Real love honors freedom. It creates space. It says, I see you. I respect your path. And I want to walk beside you, not ahead of you, not behind you, but with you. Too many men fall into the trap of trying to get a woman as if she's some sort of prize to be won or goal to be achieved. But women are not problems to solve or puzzles to decode. They are people, full, complex, evolving people with their own dreams, thoughts, and boundaries. And when a woman senses that you're trying to override her agency, even with charm or subtle pressure, she starts to pull back. Not because she doesn't feel something, but because deep down, she knows that love can't grow where there's no room to breathe. Respect begins with listening. When she says she's not ready, believe her. When she sets a boundary, honor it. Don't treat her, no, like a challenge or her hesitation as something to push past. Trust me, when a woman feels that her voice matters, that she doesn't have to shrink or explain or fight to be heard, she relaxes, she softens, she starts to trust. And from that trust, something beautiful can begin to grow. It also means recognizing that she is not here to complete your life. She's not your project, your piece, or your purpose. You need to already be whole within yourself. When you give her the space to be who she is, without trying to mold her into what you want her to be, she's more likely to want to share her world with you. Not because she has to, but because she chooses to. And that's what makes love feel powerful. When someone chooses you, not because they were pressured, tricked, or pursued relentlessly, but because they saw who you were and they felt free in your presence. That freedom builds a deeper connection than any strategy or game ever could. So instead of trying to control the outcome or force a connection, focus on creating a space where she feels safe to be herself. Let her speak her mind. Let her evolve. Let her choose you day by day because she wants to, not because she feels obligated. At the end of the day, love built on pressure fades, but love built on freedom, that kind of love lasts because it's rooted in respect, and there is nothing more attractive, more magnetic, or more unforgettable than a man who makes a woman feel free to be fully herself. Charm might get her attention, but consistency is what makes her stay. Any man can say the right things a few times, plan a few great dates, show up when it's easy. But emotional maturity means showing up when it's not easy, when life gets messy, when you're tired, when the feelings are complicated. It's in those moments that your true character is revealed. And believe me, that's what matters most to a woman who's looking for something real. Being consistent doesn't mean being boring. It means being reliable. It means keeping your word, following through, and showing her that your presence isn't conditional on convenience. So many men start strong, then fade. They show interest at the beginning, only to disappear or get cold when the initial excitement wears off. But what makes a woman feel safe, what earns her trust over time, is knowing that you'll still be there. Kind, steady, and grounded, regardless of the emotional weather. Emotional maturity is what allows you to handle conflict without blowing up or shutting down. It's the ability to express your feelings without blaming her for them. It's owning your part in a misunderstanding instead of turning everything into a power struggle. Women notice this. They pay attention to how you respond when things don't go your way. Are you calm, reflective, and honest? Or do you react with ego, silence, or emotional manipulation? Real maturity also means learning how to sit with uncomfortable emotions without needing to escape or distract yourself. It's about being able to have tough conversations, especially the ones that make you vulnerable. And vulnerability, when it's rooted in strength, is powerful. It tells her, I'm not afraid to be seen for who I really am. That level of openness deepens connection in ways surface-level charm never could. Consistency and emotional maturity work hand in hand. One without the other isn't enough. If you're consistent but emotionally closed off, you'll feel distant. If you're emotionally open but unreliable, she won't feel secure. The balance is what builds trust, and trust is the soil where love grows. Without it, even the most passionate connection will eventually wither. And here's the truth. If you want a woman who's high value, emotionally intelligent, and ready for something real, you have to become the kind of man who can meet her at that level, not just for a moment, but over time. Through the highs and the lows, through comfort and conflict, through the quiet, ordinary days and the unforgettable ones, because real love isn't built on constant excitement. It's built on consistency, care, and character. So show up, stay grounded, be clear about who you are, and be strong enough to grow when you need to. Because when a woman knows she can count on you, not just sometimes, but always, that's when she begins to fall, not just for the version of you she met at the start, but for the man you keep proving yourself to be. At the heart of everything we've talked about today is this simple truth: love isn't something you chase, it's something you always become ready for. Becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts deep, meaningful connection isn't about learning tricks or memorizing lines. It's about doing the inner work, becoming the best version of yourself, understanding what women genuinely value, communicating with presence and purpose, creating moments that matter, honoring her freedom, and showing up with consistency and emotional maturity. Because when you embody those things, when they aren't just strategies, but a part of who you truly are, you won't just get any woman. You'll attract the right woman. The kind of woman who sees you, respects you, and chooses you not because she has to, but because being with you feels like coming home. So don't rush the process. Build yourself. Lead with your heart. Stand in your truth. And trust that the love meant for you will find you, not in the noise, but in your quiet confidence, your presence, and your growth. That's the kind of man women fall in love with, and more importantly, the kind of man who loves himself first.